What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything you need to know about on a daily basis, including stimulus check update, the fourth stimulus package update, and daily news, money, investing, the stock market. We cover it all here on our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet to our YouTube channel, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on our new videos that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, thanks so much for hitting the like button for us down below. We're going to cover in this video how you don't want to miss out on the deadline for $5,000 that a lot of people are going to be able to claim here this year and what that deadline is, as well as Ukrainian President Zelensky warns of a third world war if negotiations with Russia fail, which they have so far. Check this out.
We're losing people on a daily basis, innocent people on the ground. Russian forces have come to exterminate us, to kill us. And we have demonstrated the dignity of our people and our army, that we are able to deal a powerful blow. We are able to strike back. But unfortunately, our dignity is not going to preserve the lives. So I think that we have to use any format, any chance in order to have a possibility of negotiating, a possibility of talking to Putin. But if these attempts fail, that would mean that this is a third world war.
Also, Zelensky has drawn a line in the sand for negotiations and says, quote, "We're not giving land to Russia." This comes as the war is now entering its fourth week, and said that Ukraine would not be giving any territorial concessions to Russia. Meanwhile, though, there are reports that thousands of Ukrainian residents from the city of Mariupol have been forcibly taken or kidnapped and sent to Russia. Their city council of Mariupol says. Yeah, the city council of Mariupol says that thousands of the city residents have been forcibly taken into Russia, with the mayor likening their removal to actions performed by the Nazis during World War II. Yeah. They said that over the past week, several thousand Mariupol residents have been taken to the Russian territory. The occupiers illegally took people from Livoboransky district and from the shelter in the sports club building, where more than 1,000 people, mostly women and children, were hiding from the constant bombing. The U.S. says that intentionally targeting civilians is a war crime. After all the past destruction of the past 3 weeks, I find it difficult to conclude that the Russians are doing otherwise. Quote, "What the occupiers are doing today is familiar to the older generations who saw the horrific events of World War II when the Nazis forcibly captured people." They said to CNN, "It is hard to imagine that in the 21st century, people can be forcibly taken to another country." But this is what is actually happening. Also, as you can see here, the U.S. fears that Russia could develop, quote, concentration camps. I mean, the question here is going to be, just like with World War II, how long is the world going to let this go on? And the whole thing is that Putin is trying to say that Ukraine is like the Nazis or has Nazis. Do people really believe that? I mean, look at what Russia and Putin is doing. I mean, they're really just, they're the ones trying to conquer other countries. They're the one capturing people and taking them back. Now there's talk of Russia potentially having concentration camps. I mean, let's be realistic here. And remember that the Ukrainian president is Jewish and actually had people die in the Holocaust, relatives. And the question here is really just like with World War II, how long is the rest of the world going to sit by and let this continue? Now, I know that NATO, which is 30 countries, including the US and all of Europe, basically, and not Australia, but we're all the Australia's helping too, but Japan's helping, all these other countries. Um, how long are they going to let this go on? And this was the same question that happened in World War II. And eventually, I mean, I know the US was kind of forced to happen with, Pearl Harbor. Um, but even without that, I think the US was going to be forced in there anyways. I mean, look at what was happening in Europe. Um, it's eerily similar. And it's just like you see what's happening day by day, week by week. And it's the question is how long can they let this go on? And remember that there's already plans have been leaked that Russia wants to take over more countries after this, including Moldova. They've already kind of leaked those plans by accident. The Belarusian president showed that map that says they want to take over that country next. It's kind of eerily similar. They want to take over country after country. And I mean, this is affecting the whole world. Look at gas prices. Look at inflation. Look at what it's doing to Americans here. The longer this goes on, the longer it affects everybody. Same kind of thing that happened in World War II. And I mean, I remember people saying a few months ago, "Oh, he'll never invade Ukraine. It'll never happen." And now it's more of a question of when will this stop? How will this stop? How do you get him to stop, or how do you force him to stop? How long will this go on? Uh, we're now nearing a month from now. Are we going to be sitting here saying we're nearing 2 months, we're nearing 3 months, we're nearing a year? I mean, imagine what's going on for the people of Ukraine. Imagine if we're dealing with inflation and gas prices here a year from now because what's going on over there. I mean, it's affecting all of us. It's affecting all of us. So, I mean, we're seeing gas prices, inflation, everything here. Um, luckily, we have multiple different states stepping in. If you've been watching my channel here, all sorts of different anti-inflation relief packages, state stimulus checks, gas prices being paused, or having their state taxes reduced, all sorts of different programs. Man, it's just crazy to even keep up with it. Every single day I have new ones coming out here. On the federal level, they're proposing potentially quarterly stimulus checks here. It's going to be interesting to see what happened with that. We have executive orders potentially here on the horizon. The progressive Democrats want them to, they have 8 different categories of executive orders. I just did a video on that. You can check that out. It just says, the title says the new executive orders potentially coming out or something like that. But yeah, there's a lot. And of course, they're working on a new Build Back Better package. They would need Joe Manchin to sign off on. So Joe Manchin's more involved with the process here as well. There's more child tax credits potentially on the horizon with Republicans this time around. Republican Senator, I almost said Joe Manchin, which is funny because a lot of viewers here would say he is a Republican senator, Jimmy. And some people will be like, well, he is, but he has a D by his name for now. What's funny though is in the presidential State of the Union speech, he actually sat with the Republicans, and he said he did that because he wants to create unity with the Republicans. So yeah, it's an interesting state of affairs right now. But what I meant to say was Republican Senator Mitt Romney has a massive proposal right now for child tax credits, monthly checks that are actually larger than the child tax credits, the monthly checks from the Democrats. So $4,200 per year for children under the age of 6, and for children over the age of 6 or 6 through 17 would be the same $3,000 per year. The important thing is that they get that bill done, because that's about 60 million children that are no longer getting their monthly checks. And that has already sent about 5 million children back into poverty. And that is not what we want to see. That is not what we want to see. And that kind of actually leads into one of the things I want to talk about here. Let me show you. Americans now have just 1 month left to claim up to $5,000 in missed stimulus checks and child tax credits. There's a couple different things here to talk about here, but you could potentially get up to $5,000 here for some people. And I'm going to tell you how this works. I'll show you it here on the screen, but I know most of the information here by heart. Let me zoom this in here a little bit. Okay, so first up, the $5,000 is for people who had a new baby last year. They can receive a $1,400 stimulus check for the third stimulus check and $3,600 for the child tax credits last year as well. Okay. You have to file this by April 18th, which is the filing date for your tax deadline. So remember, everybody, this is for everybody right now. Everybody has to file your taxes by the April 18th deadline. So that is less than a month away right now. Less than a month away. So right now, for anybody that had a new baby last year, if you know anybody that had a new baby last year, share this video with them. They're due or owed $5,000 in stimulus money. Okay, that includes a $1,400 stimulus check for the baby, no matter when they were born. They could have been born on December 31st last year. They're owed a $1,400 stimulus check for that baby and a child tax credit for the whole year for that baby of $3,600. They just have to claim it on a tax return. On a tax return. And that's $3,600 plus $1,400 for any newborn baby last year, of a total of $5,000. If they had twins, that's $10,000. But if they don't file a tax return, they won't get the money. So they have to file a tax return. $10,000. Well, for two of them, $5,000 for one. And here's kind of some more stuff too here. Anybody who didn't receive the $1,400 third stimulus check, which there's a lot of people, I still see comments from people all the time. Again, you claim that on it's a tax advanced tax refund. Yeah, I had to remind myself there. That's a tax refund. Okay, if you didn't receive it, you get it by claiming it on your tax return. Okay, so if you don't normally file a tax return, you need to file a tax return this year if you didn't receive your third stimulus check. Okay, here is where what you do: you claim your stimulus payment for the stimulus check part, the $1,400, on line 30 on your 1040 tax return. Okay, um, line 30, you put the amount owed to you for just the stimulus check portion, not necessarily the child tax credit portion. Um, but anybody who didn't receive your third stimulus check, that goes on your 2021 tax return. If you didn't receive stimulus check 1 or 2, that will go on your 2020 tax return. You can always go back and file an amended tax return as well if you didn't receive that. That also goes for any dependents that you didn't receive any stimulus checks for as well. So if you have a child or an adult dependent who didn't receive your stimulus checks as well, stimulus check 1 and 2, those are from year 2020 underneath former President Donald Trump. Stimulus check 3, that's for last year, 2021. Those taxes are now being filed now in 2022. You file that or you claim that on line 30 if you didn't receive those checks. If you received them, you don't claim them on a tax return if you got them. But if you didn't get them, you file on them on line 30. You put the amount that is owed to you, the amount you didn't receive. Okay. Your child tax credits are a little bit different, I believe. You do that through like a TurboTax or something like that. You just look for the place where it says child tax credits and do that through the section where it has that. Also, in today's episode of You Can't Make This Stuff Up, um, Olympic gold medalist Vladimir Klitschko has auctioned off his Olympic gold medal to raise money for the children in Ukraine. The medal was sold for $1 million, $1 million, and the buyer of the medal immediately returned it because he wanted the medal to stay in the Klitschko family. Talk about a heart of gold. And of course, he didn't know that the medal was going to be returned. But imagine auctioning off your Olympic gold medal for boxing and that you won. Yeah, I mean, if you win an Olympic gold medal, I mean, that's literally your most greatest accomplishment. He auctioned off his Olympic gold medal to give the money for children in Ukraine. And it went for $1 million. And by the grace of God, the buyer returned it. And now $1 million is going to the children of Ukraine. What an absolutely amazing story. Yeah, by the way, Vladimir Klitschko, who is the Olympic gold medalist there, and his brother is the mayor of Kiev. And they're actually both there in Ukraine fighting side by side in Kiev. And Vladimir Klitschko is actually, his net worth is actually $90 million US. And he is still there fighting in Ukraine personally. So even though he's worth almost $100 million, he's there still personally fighting in Ukraine. And his brother is the mayor of Kiev, and they are both there personally fighting in Ukraine. Talk about a heart of gold, a heart of gold. They are both there personally. They're in, his brother is the mayor of Kiev, and you may have seen them on TV. Yeah, you can see them pictured here both together. And this is the heart of the Ukrainian people, literally trying to fight off a dictatorship who just wants to steal their land and siege their people. And this is what the world is fighting against, and this is what the world fought against in World War II as well, and is fighting against now potentially in World War III. And our hearts go out to them because this is. It seems like it's the world's war, not just Ukraine. So yeah, let me know your thoughts here in the comments because it really does truly feel like it's everybody's fight at this point. Because it's, if Ukraine falls, what next? What next, right? So I'll keep you up to date here with everything you guys need to know about on a daily basis. Make sure to click the subscribe button down below. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And you can click here to see about $1,700 stimulus checks that were just announced as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.